Louis Farrakhan had the nerve, 1993, I believe. He praised the men that murdered Malcolm X. Here you are, the people of peace, the nation of Islam, the nation of peace, and you have your representative on a roster praising murder. Praising murder. So what if you don't like Malcolm, but you're going to praise the men who went into the Audubon ballroom and shot down an unarmed man in front of his wife and children? Isn't it not said in the Quran also that Muslims should not murder another Muslim? You encourage this. You put it in the Muhammad Speaks, Malcolm's head chopped off. He's a man worthy of death, and y'all spreading this poison until the poison finally took effect, and somebody was stupid enough, ignorant enough, they murdered God. You call Malcolm X a hypocrite. Malcolm X was kicked out of the nation. But I tell you, see, you really don't know what a hypocrite is. A hypocrite comes from the time when men used to dress up like women because they did not allow women to be actresses. A woman could not be an actor. So in order to play the female part, men dressed up, look like women, to be something that they are not. That's a hypocrite. Malcolm never was a hypocrite. He always believed in the teachings. He always continued to acknowledge and wanted to come back to the nation. He was not a hypocrite. He was kicked out of the temple for reasons unknown that we may never know the real reason. Now, during that speech when Minister Farrakhan was speaking, basically he said, who are you to be in our business anyway? Who are you to talk about? It's none of your business. Because a nation deal just like they do, just like the United States deal with their people who betray traitors and whatever. You can't tell a nation what we doing with our traitor. This is sort of messed up because you're saying that you did not have nothing to do with the murder of Malcolm X, but yet and still you're going to turn right around and say, who the hell are you in our business? If we did what we done, it's none of your business. This is our nation. We raised Malcolm. We made Malcolm what he was. You can't tell us what we do. Well, did you murder Malcolm or you didn't? Make up your mind. Of course, common sense tell you, ain't nobody in their right mind is going to confess to murder. I want to remind you also that Captain Yusuf Shah, it was reported on his deathbed, he was present during the firebombing of Malcolm X's home. Then later on, of course, as you know, he was assassinated. But the Muslims didn't have nothing to do with it, right? See, common sense, something here is wrong. But that's neither here or there, because you should never have done and put all this anger and hate on the man to begin with. Because your leader was wrong. That's what kicked the whole thing off. That's what kicked the whole thing off. Now, Malcolm said, please, I'm no longer going to blame the Muslims because overseas, there were some guys following me and whatever. And I know, I trained the FOI, whatever. I know what the Nation of Islam can do. I know what it can't do. And I'm going to stop saying that the Nation of Islam is trying to murder me because these guys are following me overseas. However, where did Malcolm get murdered? He did not get murdered overseas. He got murdered in the good old United States of America, where he knew that these Muslims, crazy Muslims, wanted to kill him. And it was no Chinese, it was no Arabs, it was no Caucasians that done it. It was American Negroes that pulled the trigger, affiliated with the Nation of Islam. Common sense should tell us you can deny all you want to. Something here, all of a sudden, when you get angry, this man ends up dead. Nobody else that is that interested. Every day you're doing something to talk about this man. You can't keep this man out of your mouth. Even right now, over 40-some years after this man's death, 50 years after this man's death, you're still talking about Malcolm X. He's a traitor. He's this, that. You will not allow this man to rest in peace. Those of you who know wasn't even in the situation, this goes to show you how sick you are. Because you refuse to accept responsibility of your error, and that your messenger, even though he did great things, but he did wrong here. He was in error. That's what kicked this whole thing off. And you don't want to accept that. You set up God for assassination. And even if the CIA, listen, I'm going to end on this point. Even if the CIA did assassinate Malcolm, the Nation of Islam helped by setting up the atmosphere, the perfect atmosphere, so God could be murdered. You still have to accept responsibility for what you do. And the best thing I heard Minister Farrakhan say, well, you know, I said some things and I helped create the environment for his, but there's no apology. Where's the apology to Malcolm's family? Where's the apology to us as a Black community for your actions? There's no apology. It's still arrogance. It's still this uppity type. You can't tell me what to do. This is your problem. Until you become humble. We were taught in the Nation of Islam to be a humble people, and you refuse to be humble. You don't never do nothing wrong. The only thing you do is, just like Minister Farrakhan say, well, I admit I did this, but you don't really apologize. You don't really say I was wrong. You don't talk about, you can't accept the fact that your messenger was in error. That's right. Where's the humility? Where's the apology? Where's the sincerity? There is none. You're not going to make it. You have no future. So go ahead and kill some other people. Go ahead and keep running your mouth. Might as well do it while you can, because you have no future at this rate. I guarantee it. I guarantee it. It's over for you. You set God up for assassination. You should be shaming yourself. The people of peace. What kind of, if you represent peace, I hate to see violence. If you represent peace, what kind of peace do you represent? What kind of nation are you, what type of nation are you trying to build with this type of behavior? Wrong is wrong. And I know you want to judge me. What I'm saying is incorrect. You can't prove it. Bring it to me. Wrong is wrong. Right is right. There's nothing wrong with being wrong as long as you make yourself right. You cheat on your wife. Okay, you messed up. But be sincere and try to heal what you've done and apologize. Where's the humility? That's right, Busy. The humility. Be sincere and save your marriage. Because we are human beings, we make mistakes, including the prophets and y'all divine folks. This is the same message going out to those who believe in Jesus or any of these other gods. The same thing. You have to be humble. You make a mistake, okay. How can we straighten this up? so we can continue to move. If the Nation of Islam had done that, it would not have been destroyed. You are on your way to another destruction, and you're never going to fall. You're never going to rise again. Matter of fact, really, in reality, you should never have been allowed to rise again to begin with. The reality of it is, because you're not maturing, you're not evolving. You're staying in the same place, have the same mindset as those back in the day, and you know they messed up really, really bad. Just to say that Elijah Muhammad was in error does not change the good works that he accomplished. That does not change anything. We are human beings. We make error. We are capable of making mistakes. So what? When you make a mistake, let's try to make it right and move forward. The attitude that we got now, you're going to go backwards. We don't want to do that.